Right guys, now there's been a lot of talk about Arsenal needing to sign a striker in this January window or the summer because of the lack of goals they are scoring in the attacking areas. Now despite mostly creating quite a lot of chances still, Nketiah and Jesus are not at the level and they don't score enough, missing a lot of big chances. With that being said, today we're going to look at two specific targets that Arsenal want, being Toney and Dusan Vlahovic. So let's get right into it. Right before we do, if you enjoyed this video, please like and subscribe and watch my other content on Arsenal and other teams. So I have tried to identify other players that Arsenal could sign up front before. I looked at Jimenez and I have looked at Osimhen and other videos if you want to go and watch them. But with the recent reports, it seems that these two are probably the most likely to come to Arsenal, with Osimhen look like he's going to go to Chelsea. And Arsenal do need to upgrade other areas and satisfy FFP as well. So these two probably the most likely right now. Now they do profile very differently. Toney is a bit like Gabriel Jesus, but more clinical and definitely more predatory striker. He obviously scored 20 Premier League goals last season, which is a big amount, only being behind Kane and Haaland. He also would help do what Kai Havertz does. He was very good at getting onto Raya's long goal kicks and bringing the ball down and bringing other players into the game. This is what Havertz is in the team for right now, but it obviously is a position that we still need to sort out. And he also scored goals in many different ways. Despite him obviously having a great penalty record and getting a lot of goals from it, he also scored a lot of goals in the air. He's very, very good in the air with brilliant balls by Brentford, and Arsenal do predominantly cross the ball in right now, so maybe this would be the beneficial right now if we got him in January. I'm also sure that he would do what Gabriel Jesus does and get Martinelli more in the game. I'm sure that he would work with him and pass the ball out to him and work with him on the break. I think Toney is a brilliant guy that can be on the break, and Martinelli is our only real outfit right now in that sort of quick break if we need it. And no matter how many chances Arsenal create, to be honest, their main output is definitely from Odegaard, Saka, and well, it should be from Martinelli, but obviously hasn't been that level this year. And I kind of like how Toney would work in this. He is very much a defensive forward. He has high interception numbers and aerial ones. He's very good at all aerials around the match, and I do think it nullifies the fact we need Havertz in that team. The issue with that is obviously we've spent 65 mil on Havertz, and we'd have to spend a lot of money to bring Toney in and bring 70-80 mil as well, and I don't know if he's necessarily different enough to Jesus to be warranted to get him in. I feel like all that would mean was we have to get another left centre mid in, or try and fit in someone else we have, such as maybe moving Odegaard over and getting an attacking midfielder in like Smith Rowe to play there, and it definitely means there needs to be a lot of tinkering around the team. I think for the money it could be a bit expensive, but if we can agree a deal with Brentford that we've got Raya coming in and we can give him maybe Eddie, I do actually think it could be worth it looking into the stats, because as much as he is like Jesus, he makes less passes per 90, but he's still getting around the same shots as Jesus anyway, and we've got to expect that Jesus ain't going to get the most amount of chances in a game because we just simply go for wing play over anything else. And actually having that physical threat in the box from the actual striker rather than Havertz coming in from midfield, which is definitely very good, and you could still play Havertz with Toney if you want to really have a physical side against some of the opponents. And I also think it gives that opportunity to play Toney and another left centre mid if you want to. If you want to play Havertz and Jesus, that's fine, or if you want to play Havertz and Toney, I think that would be fine as well. So I kind of like it as the whole mould of the team. And although Toney doesn't use his pace to get past people and play on the last man, he could definitely do that, and he's very good. The thing that worries me is he played for Brentford, a team that are predominantly playing on the counter attack and playing long balls, and although that we do have used that sometimes this season with Havertz and in other games, we're a team that predominantly keep the ball, and his passing is not at the same level as Jesus, so it could cause an issue sometime. He is also older than Jesus. He's nearly 28. He's 28 in a couple of months time, so he is in that age where you really need him to hit the ground running. And I know he's got Premier League experience, but he doesn't have any experience in the team and system when he would play, so it definitely could be a worry in the future, but he is used to the Prem and he is English, so he'd get along with the team. In comparison to Dusan Vlahovic, this is a very different player. He is a traditional number 9, and this is what a lot of Arsenal fans keep saying we need. We need someone that's going to score goals. However, I'm going to be a bit of a bearer of bad news. He isn't the best goal scorer in the world, and since he's joined Juve, other than that first season, he's actually struggled quite a lot, although he is still a good player and does score some fabulous goals. If you watch compilations of him, you'll realise that he does score a lot of goals and he's pretty good, but overall this is in the space of 3 years. I don't think he has been consistent enough in quite a while to even consider that as a potential. However, Vlahovic is tall. He's 6'3", which a lot of people really want in a striker for Arsenal, just giving them that plan B option if they want to cross it in. However, his aerials are actually lower than Toney's, despite Toney being a lot smaller, and he's not actually that prolific in the air, even though he has scored some good goals there. He also doesn't have the best decision making. He takes a lot of shots in the game and usually shoots from a long way out. This is why he probably has some great goals in his catalogue, but overall he's having 3 to 4 shots a game, which is not amazing. It's not a brilliant level, but a lot of them are from far out. But this is not necessarily his fault. I will give him the benefit of the doubt. He does play for Juventus, who aren't one of the highest attacking teams in the league and have struggled over the last few years, yet they are having a good year to this year. And he is big, he is a big guy, and he is strong. He is alright at holding up the ball as well and waiting for a coming runners to do it. However, he's usually good on the break, I think, as well as a bit of Toney, but necessarily doesn't have that consistency to just stay in the box and wait. But he also does have a great power shot on him and is really good at shooting from afar. He's also actually pretty good at free kicks, despite him taking quite a lot of them. However, there has been improvements from Vlahovic. This season, I've seen a lot of people talk about his link-up play has been improving recently for Juventus, and he is not a necessarily prolific striker as well, so a lot of the time he does go missing. I'm very worried about this in the Premier League, as it's been an issue for Juventus for a while in the Serie A. But there's also a lot of arguments if Arteta can actually improve him, and I think at the start, if he'd gone to Arsenal over Juventus, I think he would be a better player than he is, but obviously I don't think we would have given him the time that Juventus have. And he's just about to turn 24, which is actually still in the age bracket that we'd rather look at than someone a bit older, especially for a starting spot in our team. So I do think around that age bracket, you could definitely improve into a big player. And because of his physicality, naturally, I think that he could be quite useful. And to be honest though, I just see him as a player that's very similar to Havertz. I do think he has that slight little movement, and he is more of a Havertz going up front, and I don't know if he's even more that clinical. He's probably going to be very similar. But you could get him for a bit less than Toney. There's been rumours that Juventus are in big financial problems and they would want around 50 mil, but could look a bit less, like 35 with a player added on. I obviously don't know who they'd even want from us, but we'll have to see. It depends how much Arteta trusts in his ability to improve him, and how much Arteta believes it will cost, and how much he really thinks that Toney will improve the team straight away, because I still think Toney is very similar to Jesus. This is the thing about Vlahovic, he's very different. At least he's natural number 9, so it might be a bit better for a team to have that like us, so we can cross the ball into him. And I do think there is definitely upsides to him, even though he has not been the best at Juventus the last few years. And you also got the factor in that he has a reputation of being quite a lazy player, and I think that would get very frustrating for a lot of Arsenal fans. And he also rejected Arsenal before. He said he wanted to go to Juventus and he wanted to stay in Serie A. Well, Serie A, they're in the title race right now. I don't think they're going to win it. But as Juve are getting a bit better, I don't understand why he wouldn't keep staying for them, because he keeps getting played anyway, despite him not having the best goal record. Overall, the striker market is actually really bad right now. There is definitely some bargains you can get out there and maybe do some projects, but Arsenal need a big assurance now from a good player. It did seem as well that we wanted to buy a big player like Evan Ferguson or Osimhen, who's going to cost a lot of money, but it looks like Chelsea might have got Osimhen before us, and we need to spend so much money on other players and other areas in the team that I just don't think we can really afford to spend 130 mil on a player. I also do think everyone is overreacting because of Arsenal's recent results. Now, we haven't been the best this season, but we are controlling games a lot more. I do think that we just need to sort out what we've got with this team, because we still have a lot of quality and we're just not showing it because the tactics are just off at the moment. So first we need to sort all that out and get our left back and full back sorted before we can even think about probably buying a striker. But if you can get Vlahovic for 35 mil with a player, or maybe get Toney for 50 mil and Eddie, maybe you could probably get these deals done if we even deal your way into them. There is also players like Jimenez who are a risk but could have scored a lot of goals this season, but there's just, who knows anymore who's going to fit into our team. I do think both of these players are very close in ability, and I do think they both offer different things that could be useful to Arsenal, but it does seem like Arteta is very interested in both of them, and I feel like I believe in him to make the best out of these players, so it just seems what he's going to do. I do think it really is important that we get a left centre mid to sort of complement the person we get up front, but overall I do think that if this is the best options we can get, we probably should take one of them. Let me know what you guys think in the comment. Let me know who you think is the best option for the realistic options, not just the stupid ones I just don't think we're going to get. If you like this video, please like and subscribe and watch my other Arsenal content and other football content. If you want to, please go and watch my video about Curtis Jones. He's also been linked with Arsenal, but I talk about how good he is in that Liverpool side. And thank you for watching.